Today's Toy Spot, we're having a look at the Jada Toys Robocop 1.0 figure. This 3 3/4 inch figure, coming to us from the Jada toy line, is from the new Robocop reboot movie. Some of which people, I'm sure, are outraged the fact that they're even producing a Robocop rebooted movie. But Spot, at the time that you're watching this video, it has not come out yet, but Spot is extremely stoked for the movie. Contents: 1 figure, 2 weapons, weapons included. Get a smaller handgun, very similar enough, almost like an updated version to the Auto 9. And then you have more of a military semi-automatic rifle, or semi-automatic gun, I'm sure, down below there. On the side, the new Robocop in his 3.0 suit. Now this 1.0 suit is kind of more reminiscent of the original Robocop outfit, Robocop suit body. On the back, 2 weapons included. The year is 2028 and the city of Detroit is fighting a massive crime wave. Alex Murphy is a good cop trying to stop it. When he is critically injured, Omnicorps uses their amazing robot technology to save his life and transform Alex into Robocop. Part man, part robot, all cop. Omnicorps thinks that they own more Alex and his amazing new robotic abilities, but they forgot one thing: there's still a man inside the machine. Also some Spanish and some English. There's the Robocop 1.0, there's the Robocop 3.0, and somewhere in the middle there's a figure that probably they aren't producing. But down below, the other figures available, there's the police cruiser with Robocop 3.0, the light action Robocop 1.0, light action Robocop 3.0, both of which being 6-inch figures, a talking Robocop 3.0, and police cruiser with audio control bike, a radio controlled bike. Certainly, to check out more, you can go to jadatoys.com. What I am going to do is take a break. I'm going to get this opened up, and when we come back, we're going to get a better look at the Robocop 1.0 3 3/4 inch figure. There's more heading your way, guys. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. So, having a look at Robocop, he's a small figure. Let's have a look first at his weapon. Again, more his hand weapon. The updated version of the Auto 9, the original Auto 9 that Robocop wore, or used for combat. Not a bad detail. I mean, it's odd because it kind of looks like it's a secondary gun that's on top of a gun, but I can see where they're going with this. Some silver and some black. Very similar as well to Robocop's overall design aesthetics. Also as well, you get yourself a, I'm not quite sure the correct name for this, but it's a kind of a arm-mounted semi-automatic gun. Both of which he can hold. Let's in fact grab the figure right now. You take the handgun. Just put it into his hand like so. And we'll take his arm gun. Not to say that he would hold both. From what I see in the trailer, it seems ridiculous that when he gets it, it's that, appearing and disappearing armor that Spot really is not a big fan of, where it just looks like it just and it just kind of opened up. But he's got like an arm cannon. You can see it mounts against his arm, kind of just cups the side of his arm. And of course he's got his regular, which Spot just dropped, he's got his regular handgun. His leg doesn't open, and there's no point or no place to actually have him clip the gun to. So you either have it in his hand or you would have it loose, like so. And unfortunately, his elbow doesn't bend well enough that you can just have him with the gun just up. But there you have Robocop fully armed. Just take this out of his hands, out of his hand, like so, and we'll just put that aside. Alright, so having a look at Robocop. Now this is the 1.0, so it's very reminiscent. In fact, this obviously is the nod to the original 80s Robocop suit. It's an interesting amalgamation in the fact that it's got the silver, like the front of it looks very similar to the original Peter Weller suit. Of course, he's got the visor, which stretches all the way around, which is a touch I really liked to the new design. Loving how this visor went all the way up the side. It looks like I think it goes up a little bit more on the 3.0 suit and kind of stops more abruptly on the original suit. Face isn't bad. In fact, let's try to zoom in here. The face isn't too bad. It seems like his mouth is lost. Even if his mouth was there, I mean, the dome of his helmet kind of covers most of his face. But unfortunately, and I think I even noticed this with the 6-inch figures, that when it comes to his face area, it's not really much in the way of indication of a face. Like, there's no mouth. The 6-inch figures, I find the mouths kind of just get lost. There's really not as much detail there. But from a distance, and certainly when you start looking at 3 3/4-inch figures, details such as mouths can easily be omitted, and from a distance you're probably not going to see it as well anyways. The rest of the suit is a very more mechanical. It's almost got an organic look to it. There's aspects to it where you can see where they've been inspired by the original suit, like the little dashes, little dash marks in the armor right underneath the chest plate is something very similar to what we got with the original suit. The idea that the upper torso piece stops around the mid-torso, and then we've got the black components down there, the black section, and right down to the silver legs, so all of which carried from the original Robocop outfit. Of course, the biggest controversy is the fact that he's got his hand. He's got his one human hand versus the other hand being all robotic. I know a lot of people don't like the fact of his hand, but you know what? We haven't seen the movie yet. Who's to say how this hand plays a role? I can obviously see the nod because they were trying to, it's a hark back to the original series, the original movie, where that hand was still available, and they said no. Bob says no. I want it completely, robotic. Let's take the hand off. So they've kept that hand on. But who's to say in the movie this represents Alex Murphy's last little bit of humanity? Who's to say that this doesn't get trapped under something and Robocop has to take it off, realizing that, he is no longer a man, he is more machine. So don't knock yet the hand, because we don't quite know to what extent it plays in the movie. But the rest of the suit is decent. It's a good overall suit. In 3 3/4-inch, it translates well. I don't see a lot of real paint issues on it. In fact, the paint as a whole is really relatively clean, and for a small figure, the sculpt is done quite well. He is articulated, so his head does rotate, not really so much up, not really so much down. It kind of just is really stuck, but it does rotate left and right. It is a ball joint, but really, the way the articulation is on the figure, it's only allowing you to swivel. His shoulders are on a hinge socket, so they do rotate out. Forward, back. He does have a bend in the elbow. Now, unfortunately, with a lot of the armor, the way it's been sculpted, while he does have a bend in the elbow, that's about as much as you're going to get with the figure. It doesn't really allow you to, while it does rotate left and right at the elbow, you're not going to get any further than what you're getting right now with the bend in the elbow. It pretty much stays right there. He has no upper torso swivel, but his legs do go forward, back, out slightly via hinge, and unfortunately, the legs, I guess the more problematic part of the figure for me, they seem like really loose. He has no peg holes underneath his feet, so unfortunately if you had like a Marvel Universe stand or some other 3 3/4-inch stand, you could have stood Robocop on the base, but unfortunately they have no peg holes. His legs do have a bend in the knee also and rotate at the lower leg, which is all really standard with 3 3/4-inch figures nowadays. He's a good figure, for a 3 3/4-inch figure, and Spot doesn't really get a lot of 3 3/4-inch figures of lines. Some Marvel Universe properties I do pick up, but it's really on par with like the Iron Man figures. And can you imagine putting like a Robocop next to an Iron Man figure? That'd be kind of cool. I would like that. But the detailing is nice, a little loose on the legs, but overall, happy with the figure. I'm happy with the figure. And with the way things are going nowadays with having 3 3/4-inch figures of everything, why not have Robocop along with your G.I. Joes, your your Marvel Universe figures. Really, the sky's the limit. Digging though, and I think to be honest, I really don't even think, I'm not really sure what Jada Toys has produced aside from like the Robocop property. But I gotta say, as they're outing out into a movie property, I think they did a pretty good job. Face is a little void of details, but for a 3 3/4 inch figure, I think they did a good, solid job. Robocop, I'm going to give him a 7. Today's toy spot, we're having a look at the Jada Toys, the Robocop reboot, and we're looking today at the 1.0 Robocop. Stay tuned. Spot's going to have a look at 3.0 Robocop, and then we'll do a comparison between the two. Thanks for watching. See you next time.